Bulunaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
Yandravinaka Fiji in this bulletin. Fiji continues lobbying for travel bubble. Drug raids continue. And local airline experiences business slowdown.
Studios of FBC Suva. Jackie Spade.
Fijians are being advised to expect the economic situation to get worse before things get better. Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama says based on the state of the global market, our economy is likely to continue feeling the effects of COVID-19 for the time being.
The economic and financial effects of the coronavirus have spared no one, from the largest to the smallest markets globally.
Meaning the coronavirus-fueled collapse of the world economy will likely get worse before it begins to relent. Like most other nations, Fiji is deeply connected with the rest of the world, and like most other economies, our businesses, industries and citizens have been affected.
In the next day or two, Minister for Economy Aya Said Kayum is expected to announce the second round of COVID-19 unemployment benefits to be paid out in partnership with the Fiji National Provident Fund. Bainimarama adds the government is also closely monitoring and working with businesses in various sectors and financial institutions to provide targeted support.
The coronavirus is a challenge of our generation. If our campaign presses onwards to total victory, when the history books recount the difficulty of this period, they will tell of how Fijians led the way in beating this virus for good. And around the world, as the larger war against this virus rages on, I hope our friends and partners can take comfort from what's been achieved in Fiji.
Community leaders, businesses and ordinary people have been urged to stay the course and do what must be done to avoid needless death and suffering. As of tonight, it's been 4 full weeks since Fiji last recorded a positive case of COVID-19. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Fiji continues to make inroads into a potential agreement to be one of the first countries in the region to open up its borders. Economy Minister Aya Said Kayum says opening up travel into Australia and New Zealand in particular will depend on the finalising of a trans-Tasman travel bubble between the two countries. Said Kayum says while talks have been progressive with representatives from both governments, Fiji is continuing to lay the groundwork for when that travel option becomes a reality in the not too distant future.
We want to be able to know what can we do in the meantime to be able to prepare ourselves in the event or when it does actually open up. So we need to be, all geared up for that. Whether it's, regulatory frameworks in respect of medical protocols, etc., that may need to be developed, and we can start those conversations now.
The Care Fiji app will make contact tracing faster, easier and more effective. Economy Minister Aya Said Kayum explains that using Bluetooth technology that will significantly enhance Fiji's COVID-19 countermeasures. A similar contact tracing app is currently being used in Singapore and Australia to better contain the spread of the virus.
Essentially, you would, anybody with the app, so all of us are here in this room, all of us are on the app. So if, for example, when you walk out of this room and say tomorrow they find out that I have had COVID-19, I get tested positive, they need to then go back 28 days to see who else I've been in contact with. So all it simply does is that you pick up all your numbers and then people get in touch with you and say, you were with this person and whatever medical protocol needs to be put in place, that's how they're able to do the tracing.
Raids continue to be conducted on inter-island vessels in a bid to curb the transportation of illicit drugs from maritime islands. Another raid was conducted yesterday, which resulted in the seizure of dried leaves believed to be marijuana, wrapped in clear plastic and packed inside a carton used for rubbish. The joint operations conducted by officers from Totongo K9 team with Fiji Revenue and Customs officials, Drugs and Water Pole yesterday saw officers boarding the boat out in the Suva harbour. A team conducted preliminary work before the K9 unit and other officers boarded the vessel, but suspects disposed of the parcel before any arrests could be made. Local airline Northern Air is trying to stay in business despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. The company, which flies to 5 destinations, has lost more than $500,000 in revenue following the suspension of local flights in March. Pranita Prakash with the story.
Airplanes only make money when they are up in the sky, but most of these birds are generating zero revenue.
We've got 8 aeroplanes, but they're 25% operational right now. You'll see that most of the airplanes are sitting on the ground right now. They got no work, and I can understand. People have got financial difficulties. They're going through financial constraints, and we are with them. We're going with the demands of the people.
Despite the current challenges faced by Northern Air, they have been able to retain all their staff.
We have 62 staff, and I'm glad to say that none of our staffs have resigned or moved away. We, as management, we have actually done everything in the best interest of the airline and the workers to make sure that we give them certain number of hours so that everybody has a meal on their table every day.
Even though the domestic flights have resumed, Captain Sen believes unless the financial status of Fijians improve, the business will remain slow. He says it will take another 6 months to a year for his services to normalize. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
2 major projects have been earmarked for the Nasinu township, which has a population of over 92,000. Local Government Minister Pramila Kumar says these are the Narere swimming pool and the Volleyball stadium. Kumar says preliminary work for both the projects have started, with design and engineering completed, and they are now in the process of identifying a contractor. She says they are in discussions with the Chinese government to fund the Volleyball stadium.
We want to turn the Volleyball stadium into an area where the stadium should be able to have an event center as well, because we do realize that Nasinu is a highly populated area, and then they need an events center for various functions that they want to hold.
The Fiji Ports Corporation Limited is still evaluating the losses they suffered due to COVID-19. Chief Executive Officer Vajira Piasena says this includes the cancellation of cruise ships that were scheduled to visit our shores. Piasena says the impacts of COVID-19 were also felt on their subsidiaries. He says cargo shipments were also affected due to the impacts of the pandemic globally. 20 cruise ships were scheduled to visit our shores this year.
Basically impacting the Fiji Ports operations. That we are in the process of revising our budgets, and we are trying to assess how in terms of what will be the approximate financial impact.
National Federation Party President Piuti Kunduandua claims he is taking legal action against the Fiji police force after he was detained for 36 hours last month. Last week, the Director of Public Prosecutions advised police not to lay charges against Kunduandua due to insufficient evidence. In a statement, Kunduandua claims his interview was repeatedly delayed by police and he was kept in custody even though he was ready to answer questions. He says there was no reason for police to detain him in the middle of the night after police officers arrived at his home in Belasui village, Tailevu, just after midnight on 21st April. The NFP president says he wants to ensure that the police are held accountable. Coming up, Nandronga Rugby backs closed doors Skipper Cup competition. And road to Olympics not easy for Eugene Volma.
Oira na ngone no dei nunu ena bisi ni mataka.
Mersi sunga da ke no loma dina ke no mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina no rabak sangai ka wala loma taki na ngone. Dalabina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama ki rau ena be mataka.
Boniti kina magrombuka.
Ni wai tiri kalima na miniti me ono kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One nandomo ibiti.
Pinda na mataka dan ramai na singabo.
The Nadronga Rugby Union has thrown their support towards the possibility of the 2020 Skipper Cup competition being held behind closed doors. Union President Chico Matawalu says amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, kicking off the competition without spectators is in the best interest of everyone. Matawalu says people's health and safety should remain a priority post-COVID.
We trust that it's going to be for the best interest of both the national interest in terms of this pandemic times and also for the sports.
The Fiji Volleyball Federation is looking to resume all its domestic competitions soon. This comes after sporting restrictions were eased on non-contact sports, including volleyball, with people allowed to play friendly matches, given that the number of participants are not more than 20. Federation President Linganguki Suva says picking up where they left off with domestic competitions will be first on the agenda.
There are about 5 major competitions that we had packed when the COVID-19 came into the country. It's for the board to sit down next week and relook at what can be done, and in consultation with all of the associations. It's important that inclusiveness is part of our plan moving forward, and we look at which one of the competition that can be done at the quickest time, in line with the requirements that's in place by both the Ministry of Health and the Fiji Police Force.
Eugene Volmer knows making it to the Tokyo Olympic Games will not be easy, given the tough competition provided by fellow athletes Mbanuve Tambakaudoro and Mustafa Fall. Volmer says he is up against 2 outstanding athletes who are both record holders in their fields and are hustling for the same dream. The 31-year-old says despite going after similar goals, the trio have shared a bond that motivates and pushes them to be the best.
You can't really count them out. They both have very good chances. I'm up against both of them in trying to qualify. The 3 of us all have the same goal. All 3 of us want to try and qualify, and it's been really good because we've become very good friends, and we push each other despite we're trying to compete against each other.
And taking a look at the map for today, cloudy periods with brief showers over eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from possible isolated afternoon or evening showers. Cool at night. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj. Share it with us via Facebook page FBC News, our Twitter page at FBC_news, or hashtag FBC News. That's it from the news desk this morning. From the team and I, have an amazing Monday. Bye for now.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।